going on, everybody? Tucson Acres here. Just did a whole bunch of video footage of tearing down electric motors, and I pretty much got all the stators done. I got this huge tote of copper, and I'll show a video of that later. But I've been watching YouTube myself to see how other people do it, and I've come up with a whole bunch of other ways. Now I'm working on 2 armatures. I only have the 2 out of all the motors, like 30, 31 motors, something like that. The difference between an armature and a rotor, you see here, these are 2 rotors, and I've been stripping them completely down to where no bearings, no seals, nothing, but there's no copper windings on these. You know, they're just rotors, okay? That spins inside an AC motor. That's really the biggest difference. These armatures are usually in generators or DC motors. AC motors usually just have a rotor, okay? So there is quite a bit of copper on these, but it is definitely more difficult to get that stuff out of there than it is out of a stator. And a stator, I've just been cutting the stator right in half and extracting the copper. But with these, you can't do that because there's a steel shaft right through the middle of it, and you can't cut that. I suppose you could with the right tool, but so I'm just gonna fiddle around with this. I already got the fan off of it and the seal. I'm trying to figure out what is next and see if there's any real good method of doing this.
At first, I was going to try to use a puller to yank the windings off the shaft of that armature, but then I figured I'd try this 30-ton shop press. Turns out the thing doesn't want to budge at all. I really should just cut one of these open to figure out exactly what's keeping it on that shaft. It ended up creaking and cracking, and I gave up on this idea.
So these commutators are actually some pretty thick copper. Whole bunch of these little copper doohickeys in there. I've never actually taken one of these apart before, so this is new to me too. So I don't know, I've never actually dealt with that before. It's definitely copper though. Still got a bunch in here too. Now I want to get that ring out of there. Look at that. There we go. That's what we're looking at. Yeah, I'll bet if I slice that off now, I can punch them through. These are going to fly everywhere. Cleaning up the mess is the hardest part. I'm not sure, but I'm going to guess that after the first one's out, the rest will start going pretty easy. Just to see, I'm interested in how well these could be pushed through from the other direction, at least started. smashing them in there, but they look like they're coming out the bottom. It should loosen it up a little. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I'd say that definitely made a difference. Move right into the bigger screwdriver. Starting to get the hang of this. That one's pretty tight. Don't know why. Oh, it's still wrapped. Okay. It should pull through now. Well, there we have it. That's all the copper out of it. Wasn't too bad. Made quite a mess though. So here's the bulk of what came out of it. Actually, I'll just pan out. So I do have a small pile of the clippings that come off the top, and there's some more in my tote down here, which actually haven't really seen that yet, but that's my tote. So that came from all the motors, that big stator, generator stator. Yeah, the windings that just came out of that armature, not too bad. I mean, not a ton, might be a £1.50, so all that work for, you know, $3, $6. I'd say that was about 30 minutes. I suppose it's not too bad for my first one. Let's see if we can't improve on that now that we got an idea of what we're doing. So you can see these things are just wedged in there. So I'm just going to start, or I'm just going to keep plucking away at it, get them out of there. But these are solid copper and they're heavy. So once you get a couple out, you can actually bend them over pretty easy. The only reason I'm not getting a little more destructive with this, because I'm tired of bending over and picking shit up off the ground. And there's enough trash on the ground right now where I'm gonna have to sort it too, which is even more annoying. I've already got a couple big swept up piles of dust and dirt and trash and windings and lots of copper windings, which means I'm gonna have to sift through all of that. right, so I'm not done with that yet. Probably got maybe 2 pounds, and that'll probably be it's definitely number 2 copper. Is it worth it? You know, I mean, if you have literally nothing better to do, sit in front of the TV or chit chat and drink a beer or whatever, then yeah, it's worth it for that. But if you can make more than, you know, 10 bucks an hour doing anything else, armatures, at least these ones, are not worth it. Now, if you were to get monster armatures and they were clean, and you could get, you know, 4 or 5 pounds of copper in less than an hour, then I think the armatures would be worth it. Otherwise, especially ones like this, they're all rusted up and little bitty wires, and you know, now, no offense to anybody out there, but if you're scrapping, you know, you're doing it for money, and it's because you're not really doing anything else, which is fine. And then it might be worth it to you just to hang out in the garage, watch some TV or whatever, and, you know, get after it. Or if you've got a better method, a more efficient method. But at this rate, you know, I'm looking at 2, maybe 3 pounds tops. You know, even if let's say it was 4 pounds, 4 times 3, 12 bucks. 12 bucks in, you know, an hour, you know, that just is not that great. The motors, you know, I was able to do 30 motors and all the stators in probably like 4 to 6 hours if I were to like actually consolidate it. And each motor had a couple pounds of copper, so that'll add up. And plus, I'm just doing it to clean up my barn. So anyway, that's all I got for this one. Keep yanking on them bootstraps. I'll catch you on the next video.